Hispanics are causing panic, baby. Let's do it.
What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to go ahead and do a quick video here this afternoon. It's just a quick topic I wanted to kind of touch on. So thanks to everybody joining me live and those that'll be joining me on archive. Hit that like button if you're listening. Feel free to share this on all your social media platforms. I will be on tonight for 8CP59. Should be a great show. Hit that bell button. That way you're notified every time D-Style Boxing comes on live. Hit that subscribe if you like, the content as well. You know what I mean? Check it out, man. This video was inspired by a tweet I saw. All right. And I've seen several of these, and I want to kind of address it and just kind of point out all the flaws in it and like, just point it out a little bit. So I saw the following tweet. All right. And I can kind of see where the person is coming from. And I'm going to touch on some things. But before I do, let me first say the following. And I think everybody knows this. Everybody knows D-Style Boxing's opinion on shit. So let me just kind of lay it out anyway. If you're just in case you're new to the channel and all that, okay? First of all, I have no issue with the trilogy. I've been an open advocate about the trilogy happening. Now, I was also very transparent saying I don't believe it should be, placed ahead of Undisputed. I wanted to see Undisputed. I feel that way about every weight class. I stay consistent. I've been consistent. The consistency just doesn't stop. You know what I mean? The consistency with D-Style Boxing, it just doesn't stop. Like, you know what I mean? I just stay consistent and that's it. You know what I mean? You can't say I'm not consistent when it comes to Undisputed. So with that said, it doesn't mean I hate the trilogy. It doesn't even mean I don't think Wilder doesn't have a chance. And I want to dive into all those things. However, there's some people that even though this trilogy has been announced, like it's just not enough. It's not enough that the fight's been signed that it's going to happen. It's just not enough. It just isn't. Like I want more. I want more out of everybody. I don't just want you to tolerate the fight. I don't just want you to accept the fight. No. I want you to be in Wilder's corner. You better be in Wilder's corner. Because if you're not in Wilder's corner, something is up. Right? If you're not in Wilder's corner, what's up, DJ? How's it going? If you're not in Deontay Wilder's corner, you're up to no good. If you are in Wilder's corner, if you're not in Wilder's corner, something is up with you, and we know what it is. And all this shit, like all that crap, we need to put that shit to rest ASAP. And here's the latest one, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm stating my opinion. That's what it is. Like it, not like it, I don't care. It's my opinion. I will speak my opinion whenever the fuck I want to speak it. Check it out. So, and again, it's nothing personal, nothing against this person specifically. It's just what they put. And I want to address why it's different. I want to address that we do have an already existing comparison. Okay? So let me share the screen just for the sake of transparency. All right? Let me share the screen right now. So Ty Michael 85. I don't know the person. I have no opinion about him specifically. We're going to address his actual tweet. Deontay Wilder is an American story worth celebrating. Story needs special needs child he advocated for. Worked a trucking job and learned boxing by trade. Went to the top of the top, got knocked down, and is trying to come back. Y'all liked it in a fictional story for Rocky, but not now. And now, let me first say, I love Deontay Wilder's story. I love the fact that he got into boxing to support his little girl. That's inspiring. I think that's a wonderful story. He did, in fact. There's a lot of truth to it. He did, in fact, get into boxing on the side and at a late age. Others did as well, like AJ did as well. He's not the only one that's done it, but Winky Wright took the sport late. But it's still unique, and it's still a hell of an achievement to just be at the top of the mountain, much less be the WBC world champion, a bronze medalist, all that, right? Everything that should be celebrated for, and I think many of us did, to be honest. Of course, it's going to be the guys that just don't like Wilder or whatever, but those guys existed, before. They're around now. But there's also people that supported Wilder that aren't really going out to bat for him right now. And I'll go over some names in a little bit, but it is true that he's trying to come back, and that I do support. I have no problem with the trilogy for that reason. And I do believe he has a pretty decent shot to win a trilogy. It's my opinion. Not many share it. But I understand why they don't share it, though. And it's okay if they don't. No one should be forced to cheer for anybody. Nobody should be forced or shamed into, backing somebody up and giving them support. No, nobody should be forced to do anything. But this is talking about a Rocky story, right? So this is obviously talking about Rocky 3, right? So let's talk about Rocky 3. All right? Let's go ahead and talk about Rocky 3, if we may. All right. So you're saying that the trilogy reminds him of Rocky 3. So I guess in this case, Fury is Clubber Lang, Wilder is Balboa, and Malik Scott is Creed. I mean, call me crazy. Malik Scott wishes he was Creed, and Balboa didn't accuse Mickey of drugging him and Lang of having egg weights. But that's me. And that's where I want to draw the line really quick. And that's what people keep missing out, leaving out of the story. Stiffen, how's it going? Jesus, that's what I'm talking about, Azus. I'm sorry, brother. You don't have to stay and listen to this specific video. We're gonna interview a prospect later. We're gonna talk other boxing later. But that's what I titled it. That's why, guys, don't come tell content creators you don't want them to talk about what they're talking about. You can choose not to watch, okay? With all due respect, I give you guys a lot of content. I could talk about this if I want. JC, how's it going? The boxing historian, Joe Lopez 40 ounce. So I want to make sure you guys understand this right now, okay? Andre Rodriguez, how's it going, brother? And I don't want to make this too long because I'm going live tonight. You know what I mean? Remember, 8 tonight. Those watching, I want to see you there tonight. But check it out. If first of all, we already have an example of a movie character, okay? Because if you go down the guy's comments, everything is, we know the reason why, because Balboa wasn't black, and so it's made a race issue right away, right? So is it about race when Nate Campbell doesn't want to show him any support? I just want to, just put that out there. Because I'm not making it about that. I'm responding to what this guy tweeted and what people are putting and insinuating. It's like this insinuation that if you're not backing a Wilder, you're a racist. Well, that's not going to fly, man. Whatever equity you thought you had, that equity is running out, and it's running out quick. Okay? No one is stopping anybody from backing up and supporting Wilder. How about you as an individual do that and don't lecture others on doing it? That's number one. Okay? Number two, there's already been a quote-unquote black character that was in a movie that got beat and then came back and avenged the loss, and the movie had great reception, and it was called Creed. We already have an example of that. And it was a box office hit and all that. We already have an example of that. What the fuck are you doing? What is this? But now let's take it to Wilder. I know it's hyperbole and I know I'm joking, but this idea that it's, look, it's just like the Rocky story and they don't want to support. What about it is like the Rocky story? Exactly. First of all, the Rocky story is extremely fictional, not realistic. That's number one. Okay. In the movie Rocky, okay, Rocky Balboa had one training camp with Apollo Creed, and then was fighting in a way we never seen before. Right, like he was on his toes, fast hands, moving the blistering hand speed, and he looked like a middleweight all of a sudden. And gave Clubber Lang a boxing lesson. He was boxing like Apollo Creed, but yet this was an aging fighter with a bad eye and like all these injuries. But apparently, right, whatever. It's funny, whatever. People love the story. We saw the same scenario with a black leading actor in Creed, and people had great reception to it already. We already have a comparison to that, right? It already exists. But I don't remember like Rocky accusing his trainer Mickey of drugging him. You drugged me, Mickey. That's why I lost, Mickey. I know you're dying right now, but you drugged me. I don't remember that. Like I don't remember that shit at all, actually. Okay? If anybody remembers that scene, please let me know. All right? I don't remember like the accusations, okay? I don't remember the accusations of Rocky to Clubber Lang saying, "You put egg weights. He put egg weights in his gloves, so we got to really check the gloves. Even though they already checked gloves, but we're going to say they're going to check the gloves, but they already checked the gloves." Like the things they already did, they're saying they're going to do it. It's hilarious, right? But JD is still in the camp. Let's figure that one out. Frank Yeager, how's it going? Brown Guy 1, how's it going? Boxing historian claims Rambo is a character he could relate to. Okay, brother. Okay. AHTC. We don't need a movie. We already got Chavez. Like we got the shit in the flesh. We don't need no movie. Okay? No movie. But check it out. I think, like, to be honest with you, like, they should just make a real story. Just make the movie of Chavez, bro. You're good. Make a movie about Salvador Sanchez. We don't need no fictional character. You know, I'll tell you that right now. I wouldn't mind it. You know, it'll be cool. But check it out. Adrian! Because Mickey drugged me! That's why I lost! No, actually, that's not why he lost. Like, he actually went on and you know, had a training camp, even though it's vastly exaggerated, had a training camp to improve himself. You know what I'm saying? To improve himself. I just want to let everybody know what I say comes out of my mouth. I'm all about free speech. I don't want to hear anybody crying and bitching about, oh, this guy said this in a chat. People can say whatever the fuck they want to say. I'm responsible for what comes out of my mouth. Okay? I'm just letting everybody know that right now. I guess, yeah, Andy's a Mexican Rocky. There you go. But like shit like this is making the fight uncomfortable for some people, like for no reason. This fight is simply about Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. It's not a race war. It's not a battle of the races. You know what I mean? It's not that's not what this is. Like I don't understand why we're making it about this. I just don't. Support who you want to support. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing with having, whether it's national. I personally don't have a problem with national pride when it comes to sports because it should be fun. You know, I don't have problem with cheering for the people you identify with. I support it 100%. Right? Well, when Deontay Wilder had his entrance on Black History Month, I had zero issues with it. Some people had an issue with it. I didn't have an issue with it. But why D-Style? It was too pro-black. Why did you have an issue with that? Like, I didn't have an issue with it because Canelo has pro-Mexican entrances, and I don't mind those, so why would I mind that one? I'm a very consistent guy. There's nothing wrong with supporting somebody, that is that you identify with. There's nothing wrong with supporting your people. Nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with saying, you know what, when it comes to sports ain't that serious to me. I just want to go for the fight and the style that I like. What I mean? That's who I want to go for. I like brawlers. I don't give a fuck what color skin they are. There's nothing wrong with that either. We're all different. We all look at things differently. All right? At the end of the day. But right now, we have a situation where there's people trying to make it more than what it is, trying to shame people into cheering for Wilder. Like he's the American dream. He's the one you should be going for. Some people just didn't like what he did, bro. We didn't like the excuses. We didn't like the accusations towards Mark Breland with no fucking evidence. We just ain't rolling with that. And that's it. It's not that complicated. It just isn't that complicated. But now you want to shame people? Oh, they love Rocky. But we know why. They supported Rocky. First of all, there's no such thing as people supporting Rocky. Okay? Like Rocky was a fucking movie. All right? Oh, but people loved the movie. They also like Creed, where the head actor was black. What's your fucking point? You use a proper analogy for it. There wasn't a point in time where Rocky Balboa was a reigning world champion. That didn't exist. So you could use that as oh, look, they supported. Look, Rocky Balboa went through a very similar situation. Like that. That just didn't happen. That didn't happen. Do you guys not understand? What's going on to Raw Boxing TV? Don ZB, how's it going? Joe Lopez 40 ounce on here. Joe Lopez 40 ounce says he supports Rambo. Man, y'all supporting Rambo because you're scared it's going to bazooka your fucking house, okay? That's what's going on here. All right? Well, Busting the Story, you're diving deeper than what it is. My point is, I had no issue with this. The entrance was fine. I don't understand why we're even diving deeper into it. Right? The problem when you dive too deep, you open too many doors to make the conversation about anything other than what it actually is. This fight is about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. That's what this fight's about. Okay, at the end, that's all it is. They're the only two people that are going to be in the ring throwing punches at each other. And maybe Kenny Bailey is pulling somebody's arm down. But other than that, that's all that's going to be there. But I'm tired of hearing, just watch. Nobody will be there at the weigh-in to support our champion. How about all the Wilder fans just get together and actually show up to the weigh-in and cheer for Wilder so there's more cheers than boos, and we don't have to hear you whine about it. How about that? Why don't you show up to his weigh-ins? Why don't you buy tickets to his fight? That way your cheers are deafening the boos. The UK people are all the way in the UK. You're telling me they're going to beat you to Vegas? Is that what you're telling me right now? So if UK people show up and outnumber Wilder fans and are booing Wilder, I don't want to hear, they booed him. They booed our Wilder. How can they do that? He has such a good story. Well, they booed Balboa in Russia. You know what I mean? Okay, this is we're coming up with stories, right? You know what? What's your point? Show up and you could cheer. How about that? Show up and you could cheer all you want. Like you could cheer the fuck out of them. You know, like, yeah, Wilder, Bob Squad. Like yell it out loud and everything. Ain't nobody stopping you. Ain't no ticket restrictions on people buying the fights and going to the fights. Go and be deafening, right? You never hear Canelo fans bitch and moan about how they booed him, right? You never hear that. Why? Because Canelo fans show up and they cheer him and they make sure it like destroys the boos. Like, you know what I mean? The boos got no chance when Canelo fights. And there are people that hate Canelo, but guess what? His fans show up, right? And it's deafening. It's like, ain't nobody going to take, like, yeah, dudes from the UK came over to see Billy Joe, but guess what? They had no shot. None. And even if there was no travel restrictions, they still had no shot. I'm just telling you that right now. Because they ain't the first UK guy he's fought. Oh, but they don't want to support Wilder. It's because we know why. Like stop playing these games. Just do us a favor and stop the insinuations. Right? If you're going to say it, just say it. All right? Like, let's stop playing the games. Because I'm at a point where there's so much bandwidth and time, we got to conversate about this shit. So let's get to the point. What's up, the GOAT? Has it ever occurred to you that people just don't care about his color of skin, but just didn't like the fucking excuses and weren't satisfied with any of the quote-unquote evidence that was presented? Or as I call it, lack of. Especially the drugging accusation that Breland totally drugged him. Oh, he totally did. Like, you guys are resorting to saying you believe he did because you literally have no evidence to make such an accusation. None. Zero. You can assert it. You can say it with confidence. You can speak of it matter-of-factly as if it is. But that doesn't make it true. And I know you know this. Because if you were confident, you knew, you wouldn't be trying so hard to shame people to like him. You wouldn't be trying so hard to just, beg people to like him and support him. You wouldn't try to insinuate people are racist if they don't support him. You wouldn't need to do that. You could just stick to the facts. Because every claim that's been made, it's been destroyed on HCP. And willful ignorance is the only thing that's kept you from it. Not listening to the facts is the only thing that's kept you from it. Groupthink is the only thing that's kept it alive for you. The worst part, Wilder doesn't even need all that. You don't need those excuses. And I still think he did it to promote the fight. All that history of Fury existed before they fought. Oh, but he tested positive. He tested positive in the past. Okay, well, you knew that before. And what happened? Like both, they hugged and they kissed in the cheek and they called each other brother and they're both saying that, oh yeah, Fury's my brother and this and that. He was saying all this when he already knew about his quote unquote cheating past. You already knew about it. But now it's something you want to use? Oh, but he's like Clubber Lang. And people loved Rocky 3, but they don't like the Wilder story. I wonder why. Well, first of all, one's a movie, and we already have an example. I already went over it. This is getting ridiculous. This is reaching ridiculous levels. So here's my challenge to Deontay Wilder fans. Here's my challenge to you. No more complaining. No more begging people to support. You support them. You be Bomb Squad. I've never supported or shamed anybody like any of the fighters I like. You go to the weigh-in. You cheer for him. You drown out those boos. You buy the ticket to the fight. You be there present to cheer him on. So they're not. It's not being. You don't hear a bunch of Brits singing along and shit. You can boo when Tyson Fury comes out. Let that be deafening. Do that. It's simple as that. And stop complaining. It's getting old. Let's have a report on here. How's it going? The GOAT. I was a big Wilder fan. I choose to spark Fury twice. He's a pathetic sore loser. He's definitely been a sore loser. Annalie, how's it going? And again, I need to reiterate that I do believe Wilder has a chance to win. I do. Anyone who doesn't think he doesn't have a chance is crazy. I feel the same way about Wilder now as I did before he lost. My opinion of him as a fighter hasn't changed. Because all this other shit, all these smoke and mirrors going on and all this talk doesn't mean anything when ding, ding, the bell rings. It means nothing. Nothing. Wilder is still a devastating puncher. One of the most devastating punchers this world's ever seen. That hasn't changed. That hasn't gone away. Power is the last thing to go. Foreman still had it at the age of 43 or some shit. Right? Somebody could put the actual, I think, was it 44? I forget the actual age, but Foreman still had the power then. Wilder's in his late 30s. He still got the power. It's still there. It's still very possible. He could prepare for the blitz this time and strategically give himself a better chance to win. That is possible. This is not coming from some delusional dude that just hates Wilder. I was a Deontay Wilder fan for years here. I just couldn't go along with Glovegate. That shit was just too much. I just couldn't go along with, Breland spiked my water. I just couldn't go along with that one either. That one was just a little too much. And a little too much, I'm being very sarcastic. What reason would I have to go to bat for Fury when I publicly said I don't even like Fury? But if you're going to accuse somebody of something, you better have some really hard, true evidence. And if you started this whole thing not even knowing that they already checked the gloves, they already inspect the gloves, the things you're asking for the trilogy has already been done, then you're obviously ignorant to the whole process. There's people that have learned the following. I thought a lot of these things were common knowledge. My bad. As a content creator that's been covering boxing for years, I did not do my job to let people know how shit works. I let a lot of people down, and a lot of my comrades let people down because there was a lot of boxing fans out there who, it is their choice to listen to certain content creators that don't teach them anything, just feed them narratives, okay? But it is to a certain degree our jobs to educate people about bringing experts and talk to them. That's what we've been doing on HCP lately. We bring the experts in so you can listen to them, so you can learn something. A lot of people learned that there's a glove selection meeting. So many people a lot of quote-unquote content creators didn't even know what a glove selection meeting was. They didn't even know you could put on the glove and check it out. They didn't know that was a common practice. They didn't know you could check out the glove sitting right next to the fighter the next day and check out the wraps. They didn't even know JD's was in there when they put on the glove. They didn't even know all that. They didn't even know how shit worked. But a lot of us did learn. Because the accusations were made, so a lot of us did the responsible thing and say, you know what, let's look into it. And as we did, we found out that none of the boxes checked out. None of them. Because when you put emotion aside and you just go by just using logical thinking, objective thinking, You don't come out with a conclusion, right? When you make blanket statements like, "Oh, I never seen a glove do that," but doing a little bit of research, I found gloves that quote unquote did that. And then you look into it, why it does that. And then you look deeper, and then you have people actually put on the glove the way they say it was, not the ones they sell at Walmart, not the ones they sell at the Academy, not the ones with a fucking strap on, with Velcro and shit. Not with that. But when you actually looked at what the actual one, the professional ones that Fury wore, and we had experts put it on camera, showing that you can bend it back. You can bend your hand back 90 degrees. You do it all the time when you do push-ups. What are you talking? You could do it right now. Especially if you bend your fingers back. You could bend it even more on a glove. The laces it would be so obvious. There would be a bulge in the wrist area. We had Ernie Gabion on, an expert. Worst will ever last. The type of glove Wilder wears. A lot of guys, they never consulted with experts ever. We have people go on camera and say it's impossible to pull a glove back when that's just empirically not true. First of all, that's just common knowledge. Like, there's something that I thought were just common knowledge that we don't need to be going over. But unfortunately, we had to go over. It's sad. So I went on camera my damn self and showed you that I could bend the glove back. And that was that was a 12-ounce pair of gloves that I used to hit a heavy bag, and it's Velcro when I was able to bend it back. Okay? I did it on Lion Killer's channel, I did it on Uncensored, and I did it on my own channel. And we had a glove expert show you with those gloves that they could do it as well. We showed you. We have individuals on here, quote-unquote boxing fans, that don't even know that there's gloves that have horsehair and don't even know that that's common. That's normal. Like, oh, yeah, the glove with horsehair. What? Like, what do you mean what? That's normal. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? So we need to acknowledge these things. But there's people that just don't want to listen to it. They're covering their ears and going, la, 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 I ain't going to hear it. I ain't going to hear it. No, I don't want to hear it. No. Let me tell you something. We have opened the doors. Every Wednesday on Censor, we open the doors to talk to Wilder fans. And we kept it respectful, and never could they come with anything. And they always left with more questions than answers for themselves. That is a sign of somebody that just is refusing to acknowledge the facts. That's a clear sign of it. They couldn't, like, even just say simple things. Like, Dante's Boxing Nation did a video saying that the palm area all has to be wrapped. The first time I heard that, I was like, that's wrong. How many people heard that and believed that was real? That's totally irresponsible. I don't think he ever retracted that. If he did, good for him, but he should retract it. That's a stupid statement to make. Again, one of those, like, it's just common knowledge. I never thought that with hardcore boxing fans, I would have to explain that, no, the palm is not covered. It can be covered, but 99% of the time, it's not. It just isn't. How do we know? Well, how do you know? Like, just look at fights, bro. Look at fighters when they have the gloves on. You see skin in the palm area. It's not wrapped. Multiple fights, thousands of them, hundreds of thousands of fights. You'll see it. When they take off the gloves, you see it. When they wrap their gloves, you see it. And then Fury himself, they wrapped the gloves in front of these, and his palm was there, bare. Like, it's normal. What else do you want to hear? I always thought all this shit was just common knowledge. And we have people running around saying, I just don't understand why people just don't like Wilder right now. I don't understand why a lot of you are accusing, Mark Breland of drugging Wilder, but that's not here nor there, right? I don't understand that. I've been waiting for the hard evidence. Where's the evidence? I kept hearing, just wait. Once the fight's official, the evidence will be released. Well, Fury said he signed the contract, so where's the evidence? Where is it? Can I see it? May I please see the evidence? Where's the evidence that Mark Breland drugged him? Please. I want to see it. If I may. This is getting absolutely ridiculous. So, that's all I got to say. You're getting the trilogy. I don't have a problem with the trilogy. I'll repeat. I have no issue with the trilogy fight. A lot of you said that's all we want is a trilogy. Okay, you got it then. Cool. Here it is. Right? So it's and here's the thing, man. A lot of you guys, you're out here going to bat for Wilder, and that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? You can go out, you could go to bat for whoever you want. That's cool, right? Hey, he's a monster puncher. He could hit anybody, So you're always going to have a chance with Wilder, no matter who it is. And that's including Fury. But I'm going to tell you right now, right? Wilder will lose again. Now I think it'll be against Fury, but even if he beats Fury, let's say he knocks Fury out in the first round, like his day will come when he will lose again. My question is it always going to be cheating? Is it always going to be an excuse? Y'all just got to keep it honest. What's going on to EJ Boxing Live? AHDC, I never seen a palm cover with gauze either. But there's people that are playing semantics and like, why can I seen it happen? Like, okay, well, it's not the norm at the very least, right? I never seen it either. So I've seen people wrap their hands and they cover their palm, but like when they wrap the hand themselves, but you could argue they're not doing it right. So anyways, guys, tune into HCP tonight. I'm going to try to take some callers. You guys can call in. And we just had a great fight this weekend, and all that. Now here's the problem, Maestro. If Wilder had COVID, right, then he owes a big apology to Mark Breland then, right? If Deontay Wilder had COVID, then he owes an apology to Mark Breland because he's accusing Breland of something. Dude, like they're basically accusing the man of trying to murder him. Okay? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, out of all the accusations, the Mark Breland one takes the cake, like, by far. So, it is what it is. Stay tuned tonight. I'm out of here. Peace.